Hey, everybody, welcome to the More to Discovery podcast. This is the podcast where we have conversations, education, and all in between to help your journey to self discovery. It's been a while since
Yeah.
I've done a More to Discover podcast, but my lovely guest slash co-host, because she's actually a partner with our Unscripted Untold podcast. So I want you guys to check that out as well. But today I wanted to kind of pick her brain because of her expertise. She is a master at creating resumes, how to conduct yourself at work, which we're going to talk about being assertive and getting, the things that you are asking for while being assertive as opposed to being aggressive. So I wanted to kind of pick her brain and kind of give us some tips and tricks that we can use to be ourselves, our authentic selves, ask for what we want, whether we get it or not. We still ask for what we want and how we can do that. And then, other behaviors within the workplace. So, Miss Jenece, I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule on a Sunday to, do this little podcast with me. I wanted to showcase and highlight all the talent that you have. And so, we were talking yesterday about, the workplace and everything. And, you kind of, based on personal experiences, you kind of wanted to give out your wisdom to others. And so
Yeah.
I'm going to share your personal story about the time you had to be assertive at work on your job.
Okay. So first, thank you for having me on. And, oh my God. So I actually, when I got these set of questions, I did sit and really just analyze them because I want to make sure that the audience that's listening make sure that you have pen and paper. I have notes where I'm going to be reading off of because I think that I wanted to capture as much as possible. Um, but um, I have plenty of personal stories, but this one specifically was recently, actually. And I have a lead who is very aggressive.
Mm.
And she sent something, some type of communication through Teams. And and it was pretty aggressive. And I had to basically say something. There's times where you let things kind of roll off your back, but this in
Right.
this particular moment, I said, no, no, thank you, because it was very inappropriate.
Mm.
So I had to, basically let her know it was inappropriate. And I said, what I will do is if this continues, I will have to loop in a supervisor. But however, me being who I am and setting boundaries, I looped one
Mm-hmm.
in. So
Wow.
we're all on the same page. We all got an
Right.
understanding of what needs to happen moving forward. And so assertiveness doesn't mean confrontational.
Mm-hmm.
However, it means just standing on the mere fact of having a respectful communication between amongst people and then setting boundaries. And so I think this would be helpful to know that it's okay to calmly, escalate it to a supervisor and say, hey,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you know, this communication between me and this person isn't, jiving or however you want to put it.
Right.
Professionally, I think that it's imperative that you make it clear from the
Mm-hmm.
jump. So that way, because this wasn't the first time, but it happened, until I was like, okay, if it continues, it will go up higher than the supervisor this time. Your choice. And I
So
did
how
it with a smile.
and with a smile, okay. So how receptive was that particular person once you voiced your assertiveness and voiced your concerns of what was going on?
She wasn't at first.
Okay.
But she had to learn that I'm very vocal about my
Mm-hmm.
piece. And so I
Mm-hmm.
will tell you, okay, hold on. You
Mm-hmm.
messing with a piece? Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
So I might not say it that way, but there will be a way that I will say it so that you're aware that you're starting to, you know, knock at my boundary door,
Mm-hmm.
and this is not going to fly with me. But it doesn't, I think, because us as, and I have to bring this up, us as mostly Black women, we are considered aggressive. We are considered attitudish
I
just
was
because
just getting ready to say that.
we,
Yep.
yeah, just because we are assertive or we speak up for ourselves, that doesn't mean that we are aggressive. I
Right.
believe it's how you say it. You need to control your posture. You need to control your face. I know it's
Mm-hmm.
hard, ladies, but
Mm-hmm.
be done.
So, from being assertive to a supervisor or a superior, what about your coworkers? What if you have a coworker that is, saying things that's off the wall or whatever? Do you change is there a little attitude adjustment between dealing with your supervisor or anybody higher up as opposed to dealing with a colleague who's or a coworker?
I treat everybody the same.
Okay.
I'm not your friend. Um,
Mm-hmm.
we're here to work. We're here to be professional. Everybody gets the same treatment. I do not exempt my coworker from my leader. They all get the same treatment. If I have something to say, it gets said
Mm-hmm.
in a professional manner. I've had where coworkers have, of course, said something out of line. Again, uh, I'm very vocal and say, I didn't find that appropriate, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
not speaking to you that way. And I would appreciate if we can maybe let cool heads prevail. And I've had to do that. And I was like, how about we meet up tomorrow, maybe a couple of days, and let's revisit this because right now I feel like there's an aggression, and I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to say something that's going to make you get offended because I'm already offended.
Mm-hmm.
But you're aware that I am. But as long as I'm staying calm and collected and just saying, "Hey, let's just wait a second. Let's wait a couple of days and then let's revisit this." That shows them that there's some maturity with you, but you also mean business
Right.
at that time.
Right.
Respect.
Now you just, you say that you are, very vocal, which is great. Now, what about those of us who are kind of an introvert or kind of people who are shy and really are having a hard time speaking up for themselves, but they, miserable inside because they didn't get a chance to speak up, and then that opens the door for just kind of be treating individuals who are, quiet like doormats, even though they're not, they're very, in tune of who they are. But
Yeah.
as far as, some people don't like to be, go have conversations that might provoke confrontation. So, what would you say
Mhm.
to those who are, you know, trying to just change that mindset to or a technique that they can use, to at least take small steps in being assertive?
You know what's ringing in my head right now? Something my mother-in-law said a while ago. She
Mhm.
was like, she was like, uh, God didn't make you a doormat. So you have to be able to find your voice. You have to be
Mhm.
able to read the room. There are instances where you might not say anything right then and there, but it's
Mhm.
okay to pull that person to the side and say, hey, I really felt this way. If you, especially if you're angry or you're offended in some type of way,
Mhm.
wait and say, or send that person a message and say, hey, can we meet like maybe tomorrow or the next day? Sit on it. Don't speak out um in anger. You know,
Mhm.
have that time to really digest what happened, especially if you're angry.
Mhm.
But I would really highly suggest um those who, don't speak up. That's more room for them to keep doing what they're doing anyway.
Right. Right.
You you have to say something like, "Hey, I'm not feeling this conversation. I'm not feeling this energy right now. Like,
Mhm.
we're not, I'm like, if how can we work professionally together? We're
Right.
here together for eight hours.
Mhm.
Let's figure it out. And there are some people who just won't budge, and that's not your problem. You spoke up and you said what you needed to say. If it happens again, okay, let's bump it up to the next person. And if they ain't doing nothing, let's keep bumping it up until, because at some point it starts to turn a little into harassment or nitpicking or micro.
Mhm.
And I hate that. I hate that. Oh, that gets on my nerves.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. Especially I can honestly say on a personal, sometimes on my job, I feel like I'm being targeted. Um,
Mm,
and I wonder if it's because I'm not, in the drama. I'm not part of the clique. I'm quiet. Essentially just come to work and do my job. You know, I don't, like you said, I mean, I may like some of my coworkers, but I'm not, the type that'll necessarily hang out with them after work. Um,
I'm the
and
They
yeah.
don't know I'm here.
Mhm.
I'm so serious. I'm so quiet. The only time that you will know I'm here unless you come and pick with me and I got to tell you about yourself, go back in my hole and mind my business.
Mhm.
Seriously, I'm the same way. I'm quiet. I do my work, but you have to learn how to disconnect. I don't get personal.
Mhm.
I look at it. I believe I heard Myron Golden say this, like, a job, that's your client.
Mm.
You're doing a job for that client, and that client is paying you. Mindset, right?
Mhm. Right.
Like,
Yeah.
if that's your client and they're paying you $60,000 a year, or 60,000 every 2 months, right? I'm just
Mhm.
making something up, right?
Mhm.
How are you going to do that job? How? You're going to do it as excellent as you can. You're going to try to keep them happy. I'm not saying people pleasing, but I'm
Right.
saying in a point of, okay, because it's just like in business. If a client comes in and tries to run stuff and you have an order of how you do things, you're not going to let that person come in and do anything. You're going to have a boundary, a clear
Right.
boundary. This is how we do things here. If you can't accept that, bye bye.
Mhm.
It's kind of the same thing. Nothing personal. It's just not, once 4 o'clock hits for me, bye. I don't
Mhm.
I you know and I only can say to that person who just keeps like, well, what if this and this and this? You have to be able to read the room and say, okay, either pull that person to the side, bring a
Mhm.
supervisor in, and have that hard conversation so that they won't be thinking that it's okay to keep doing it. They're testing to see how far they can go with you.
Yeah.
And if you keep allowing it to happen, then they're like, oh, I'll do what I want to. I can say
Mhm.
what I want to say to this person. I don't think so. And that's clear cut with me. They may not like me, but they sure got respect for me.
Right. And I think that's the thing. It's not about, like you said, people pleasing and I just want to be liked and everything. It's about just showing respect. I may not like you, um, on a personal level, but we have to have, if we're in a workplace, we got to have an understanding that we have a common goal, like you said, to meet this. We have this client that we have to, provide our service for to in order to get paid. So, you know, you have to, even though I don't really care for you on a personal level, you still got to have some kind of respect because there's, your piece of your position may have to, overlap what I do in order to get the
Right,
job done.
right.
So, and, and I think at the end, it is about, well, we don't get along, but I do respect, she is, good at what she does. You know what I mean?
And I
So,
get told that all the time.
mhm.
You're great at what you do. Well, it.
Mhm. So why won't you come to the parties or anything?
Okay.
Again, you don't, yeah. And that's so, and it's okay if you don't want to be a part of that. That's not, um, you know.
And that's, I've been asked that, and it's like, I respectfully decline. That's how you can answer it.
Mhm.
I respectfully decline. And your no is your no. You don't have to keep explaining it. I said no, but I said it in a professional way.
Mhm.
What's the problem?
Somebody, I read, it was something on a tape or something. I always do self-help tapes or whatever. But if you keep saying no, I can't do it, or give them a reason, next thing you know, they're gonna talk you into, I say, oh, okay, okay, I'll do it. Knowing, and it really makes you mad inside because you really don't want to do it, but they kept badgering you, you kept giving them excuses as to why you can't do a certain thing or go to a certain place. And next thing you know, all right, I'll do it. I'll do it. But then, you actually have attitude about it because you didn't want to really do it anyway. But like you said, it just respectfully decline, say no, I can't do it, and be quiet. Don't say
That's
nothing
it.
else. Don't keep
I
going this way.
I don't explain myself at all. Like,
Mhm.
I got pulled into a group chat about a Christmas party. Now I'm like, I'm not going to. That's my listen. That's my personal time. And then second,
Mhm.
I don't really, I don't want to be a part of that. I just don't
Mhm.
really. I have not done it in the entire 6 years that I have been with the company. Y'all don't
Mhm.
even know what my birthday is. That's
Mhm.
how disconnected I am. I do my job and I do
Mhm.
that's it.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's it.
So, I think we already touched, this, but some of the common barriers that people face when they try to become assertive in the workplace. What do you think are some of the barriers?
Hmm. Okay, so in terms of like the misconceptions of the barriers or something.
Or when you're trying to put yourself in an assertive, position to confront somebody, or have a discussion with your supervisor. Oh, let's say about you wanting, you think you're earning more, you need to earn more money.
Mhm.
What are some of the barriers you think that a lot of people face when they try to be assertive and
Fear,
ask for fear, ask for
fear.
what they want?
Yeah. Because you have to absolutely know your worth.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that is something I'm very that's the assertiveness you'll get from me as well. I was actually funny that that's a question because I had just that actually just happened to me where um I was offered something
Mm-hmm.
and I wasn't really looking, and it's not a position that don't I'm not very interested in.
Mm-hmm.
But the first question I asked, I'm like, is this a lateral move or a promotion? Well, I'm not really sure. Well, I'm not really sure either because I'm not going to take a position that I'm going to sit and do a lateral move. I've been with the company for 6 years. I'm not looking to just keep getting more work and not
Yeah.
paid
Right.
for my worth
Right.
at all. And I'm very transparent about that. I don't go after a role that isn't, you know, not worth my time.
Mm-hmm.
So to the question is that the barriers I believe the most is fear. What can they do to me if I say this or I do this?
Right.
Um, some companies applaud boldness. Some companies don't. They want you to double back and be, I'm not going to say this or I'll
Mm-hmm.
just be quiet. And
Mm-hmm.
no, I you present something. It's just like you're presenting a business proposal. If you're saying, okay, this is the work I've done. This is I've created these systems over the course of the last 3 years. I've done this. I've done that. It's okay to show your accomplishments.
Mm-hmm.
So if in that case, if you put together a portfolio or whatnot and sit down with your supervisor or manager and say, okay, I'm looking to move up into the position. These are the things that would help me to you or reflect that I am qualified and I'm looking to gain such and such. My salary is this, that. It's
Mm-hmm.
all how you say it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think you will earn a lot of respect if you come with the facts, instead of, well, I just think I get a raise. Don't I mean that sounds like, why should I?
Right.
Okay, here's why. I think coming out of that fear and just being able to pose everything as a package and say, this is why I should be paid this much. It is nothing wrong with asking for more money. Nothing.
Why do you think there's a kind of a double standard for women as opposed to men? If a
Mm.
man comes, like you were saying, asking for a raise, I mean, he could be really kind of hard nosed about it. And, oh, the supervisor may, have that respect. Whereas women, we, we're not necessarily aggressive, like you say, you don't have to be, but we're assertive. But then, well, you do such a good job here. I'm sorry it's not in the budget, of giving you that raise. But the man, you come to find out later that the male, they found it and they found money in the budget to
Yeah.
promote him.
I just really, it all boils down to the fear of
Mm-hmm.
being able to speak up. I think that because, I mean, you said it, the man is going to be more assertive. He knows what I'm not saying women don't know
Right.
that they want that for themselves, not at all.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying is that if we have an approach of, um, knowing unequivocally, okay, this is, I, I should be getting paid this much, or if we're coming with facts and we're pointing all to the right things, I don't see why not. But I
Mm-hmm.
think as women, we shrink ourselves down and we lack a lot of confidence when it
Right.
comes to
Yeah.
certain things. And I'm not going to shy. I worked hard, and especially with a woman who's been educated,
Mm-hmm.
or still educating herself, don't shrink down just because they said that there's millions of jobs out here
Mm-hmm.
that will pay you what you're worth, or even start a business.
I was
Whatever.
just getting ready to, yeah, I was gonna, slide into that in that aspect. If you feel that you're not, I mean, because honestly, and I'm not saying people who are satisfied in working, in their companies or in their prison position, that's fine. But when you get frustrated, and I think a lot of, especially us as women, and I can even, even go further to say culturally, Black women, we get kind of tired of um, being feel like we're placed on the bottom of the totem pole as far
Yeah,
as the country and promotions. Not all the time, but a lot of the time.
yeah.
And so for those of us who want to just, be assertive and transition into another career choice or even open a business, what would you say to, you know, women like that, women like us?
I would say do it as much. Do it. And I think that's why I had to do a little plug, which is why I started to, when I first started my business, I was only doing like resumes, cover letters, that type of thing. But then I
Mhm.
started noticing women my age was like,
Mhm.
okay, but I don't want to do this. I want to change my career, or
Mhm.
I want to start a business. And so I created, a system that will help you actually make that transition. Um, and I took on this title of clarity coach because we want to be clear about what we really want to do. I
Mhm.
get a lot of my some of my clients come in like, I don't really, I just want to get out of this job. Okay, wait. What do you want to do? What do
Mhm.
you love to do? Do you want to start this business? Okay, let me connect you with the right people. And so that's how my business began to transform, because I was just like, I want a change. And I'm sure there's other women my age that want the same thing.
Absolutely.
Or afraid to start that business, or okay, but I've been with this company for 10 plus years, and but I'm over it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
writing that stellar resume that's going to get you up out of that door, because it's just that simple. Putting the right information in that resume to be able to get those callbacks, to be able to get that interview and be a top candidate.
Mm-hmm.
But it starts with your confidence. It starts with being clear as to what you want to do. And that's why I started building this system, to be able to walk you through every step of that. So,
That's awesome, and that is the clarity, coach. That is very, much needed. And you and I had a just to do a little self disclosure. You and I had this very conversation about myself of I'm tired of your my present job and want to do something else. And as you, I do have businesses that I'm trying to build on the side. And you gave me great tips of and companies of who I can apply with online, because um, my desire is to work from home.
mm,
And so you gave me uh, some prospects for me to look into. And unfortunately, all the prospects that I've applied for, I get the reject letter. But but then I'm thinking, maybe that's not what God wants me to do. If I'm
right.
getting the reject, getting, that you're qualified, but you're just not, they're coming back with the reject letter. And I'm, always talking about building my business. I'm really had to really get clear. Do you want to continue to work for someone else, or you really want to get into it and really work that business like want like you supposed to do? So,
Period.
and I
Period.
think, after our conversation yesterday, I became clear. This is what I need to do. I need
Yeah,
to really work my business.
yeah.
um and it may be hard, for you're on a job, but just think of the bigger picture.
Hmm.
You're creating an out plan. So
Hmm.
when you can put in that 2 weeks notice, you don't have to look back, and you're ready to do something else and go to another chapter of your life.
Yeah.
So
The job is just funding it, and then there's people who have a career, and that's not where I'm coming from when
right.
it comes to my business. I don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important to understand, you can have both.
Mm-hmm.
You can have both. Like, I've had my business almost, I think it might be 6 years, going on 7 years, but I've been working a regular job since then.
Yeah.
So I've put in so much effort.
Yeah.
But now, the way the economy is,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, and,
Mm-hmm.
but then this is what makes me happy. I love to talk about stuff like this. I love to see women win, men win. I love to see it. Oh my God, it does something to me to see other people win and get
Right.
out of a situation that they completely hated.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah.
So with that being said, how if people want to work with you, you are, wanting to help people get clear on what they want to do in their professional, career, whether they want to, ask for a promotion, stay with, they love their job in their company and want to be more assertive to, go out and pursue other positions within that company. So you help them to get clear on that, or they want to transition to, become an entrepreneur and open up a business. How can people reach out to you, or, if they want to, talk with you personally?
So I am going through a period of transition myself. It's changing over systems and so forth, but
Hmm.
I can definitely, I can be text at
Okay.
-772-224-7017.
I will have that in the show notes, you guys. So on her
Yeah,
information.
yeah. So, and my website is going through a transition as well, but right
Mm-hmm.
now, um, you can book book a appointment right now. You can send me a direct message either on Facebook, Instagram. I still do have a few things, but I'm still working out the kinks.
Okay.
Um, but I do have a Pinsite account as well that they can go to. And then that's where that clarity kit is. I have a jump scare,
Oh.
which is free. And then my new system will be coming out soon, hopefully by tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
And
Oh, awesome.
yeah, I give you the prompts and stuff to be able to do your resume and help you. It's called the JD toolkit. It's the job description toolkit, but
Mm-hmm.
it's break down everything verbatim and how to write that stellar resume. But of course, I'm still available for that. But you can visit on my Pinsite account, and that's just pinsite.com/x/signif beginning. So SIGNIF. I can be emailed as well.
Okay.
Very easy to get in contact with. So until I get all my websites and stuff together,
Mm-hmm.
my email address is info@signifbeginnings.net. So
Again, I will have all her information in the show notes. So, I'm really excited, and like I said, we have our collab in Unscript Untold, but you also, I wanted people to understand and know what you are as a person in your everyday job, and what you can bring to help to us women, and not only us women, but our Black women as well, um,
yeah,
because we're different. We're in a different. We're all women. We have a struggle anyway in the in the job in our jobs, but when us Black women, we're in another, that's another layer of struggle that we have to go through. So,
yeah. Because I when we was in Florida, I had to deal with it. Well, where this girl come from? How she get this position?
mm,
And I had
mm,
just finished my master's degree.
mm-hmm,
Um, so they're probably like, where's she come from? I'm
yeah,
young. I'm still in my 30s at the time. And
mm-hmm,
they like, how she get this position? I had a very
mm-hmm,
good position at the hospital. But, you know, I stayed there for 2 years. I was, again, very professional. I
mm-hmm,
set their boundaries.
mm-hmm.
They got crossed a couple of times. They did. But they could never say that I was aggressive. They could never say that, I got confrontational with anybody. I
Mm-hmm.
always, okay, well, respectfully, you
Mm-hmm.
know, this is not what we're doing. Let's
You're
have a
right.
conversation,
Right.
professional conversation. So
Mm-hmm.
um, we all deal with it. We all do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's just how we say it. And I can, like I said, as a clarity coach, that's something that I think is important to talk about and help, someone to be able to verbalize what they need
Right.
out, having that barrier of fear or having a barrier of, I don't know what to say.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. This is some awesome stuff. I really appreciate you again taking the time out on a Sunday to, kind of let us pick your brain, so to speak. So again, I will have all Janice's information in the show notes. Please like and subscribe to the video. Also, I'll put a link to our podcast, The Unscript Untold. We have really great conversations on that podcast. So
Yes.
I, I invite you all to, kick back and just listen. I mean, we go deep in some conversation, things that are untold that we need to talk about. So we really have good time over there. So
Oh, yes, we do. We
so
we got to go into the second season. That's
I
crazy.
know, I know. We started when? Was it
It was this year when
it
we
was
started
spring or
it.
something? Yeah.
We've
Yeah.
been working. We've been
We
working.
have been working. We have been working,
Yeah,
and we're already on our second season. So yeah.
I
But
had a good time.
anyway, yeah, I do too. All right, Jenece, thank you so much for talking with us about assertiveness. I hope this will help. And like I said, if you need further clarity and want to talk with Jenece more, feel free to reach out to her. I mean, she is phenomenal. She is just, like you can tell she's professional. Um, and she's just a joy to work with and to talk to. So you guys just,
You.
reach out to her and support her. All
Thank
right, you guys. So you guys take care, and I will talk with you soon. Bye.